In this video, I will show you different ways to solve problems on virtual whiteboards. Okay, so first I want to share a feedback that I got from a student that say, I just wanted to extend my appreciations for this ease of visual with a screen shared whiteboard. Okay, on the right you have an example of a screen share whiteboard. So I use a picture, I add some forces, geometries on it, and solve the problem on the right. Okay, so what do you need if you want to solve problems on a virtual whiteboard? You will need a touch screen or a pad device, mouse pad device. I will show you the different examples. You need a touch pen. You will need a software to write, draw on it, and you will see that you already have a software on your computer for sure. And if you want to record it as a video and put it online, you will need a software to record your screen. If it's in a live class, you will just share your screen during a meeting and you will write on your screen. So the different technology that you can use, first you can use a tablet. So when we think about tablets, we think about Microsoft Surface, iPad, or eventually a computer tablet. There's a large variety of price from 300 to 3,000. So you will connect your device to your meeting. Most of the time you double connected. Or you can only use your tablet if you want and connect just your tablet, but think that you will need an independent external camera if you want the student to see you. And it will be hard to have two monitors with your tablet. So I know my colleague who is doing that are connected twice on WebEx. You can use a touch monitor. So I call it a touch monitor. It's like your second screen, but you can write on it. So it's connected with HDMI entry, like your second monitor, but you can write on this monitor. Price vary from 200 to 900, and it's really cool because you can see on what you write, but you do not need to connect it to WebEx. It's just a monitor. It's not a computer. Another technology, the cheapest technology that you can use is a pen pad. I call that like mouse pad. Pen pad is replace your mouse. So you connect it with the USB cable and you replace your mouse. But you have a little pad, like this black pad there, and you can write on it. Some of them you can see on what you write. Some of them you can't. It's just a black surface. So most of the time you are looking at your screen and writing on your pad. That's a little bit challenging at the beginning, but with a little bit of practice, the results are really great. And price are from 30 to 1,000, but you have like price like very, very accessible. So now we spoke about the technology, about the software. Oh, and for anything like the tablet, the mouse pad, and the screen, you will need a pen that is most of the time provided with it, but make sure that you have a pen that is compatible. So now for the software, the whiteboard software, there's a lot of possibilities. Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, they all include a drawing feature inside. If you want just a large whiteboard, there's Microsoft Whiteboard. Microsoft OneNote is to take notes, as its name says, but you can take notes by hand and you can draw the same way. Snip and Sketch, so it's just your pictures. You can add anything on your picture if you want. So it could be a cool tool just to record some notes that you take around the picture. Everything, all the software are free for us. I will go over PowerPoint, OneNote, and Whiteboard, the one that I use the most. So just a little comparison there. The first one, this line, is with OneNote. The second one is with PowerPoint, and the third one is with Snip and Sketch. So you see the interface and the drawing tools are very, very similar. You always have the lasso, that is very useful. Eraser, different pen, pencil, highlighters. One thing that I use a lot, the ruler, and that's what I use the most. You also have the ink to math, so you can write any equations and click on ink to math and it will write it as a math equation. I will show you this. So the PowerPoint interface, what is really great is like most of us, we do have some PowerPoint presentations ready, right? So we have our PowerPoint presentations, and let's say we can make a second version of the PowerPoint with some white space, and we can solve our problem. So we have our picture. So these pictures was from the presentation, already the presentation, and the presentation was provided by the editor of the book. And after that, I just solve it on the right, step by step. And again, you have different colors, highlighters, rulers, so it makes something clean. The advantage is that you use your own slide that already exists and you just add information on it. You can record your narration, so you can record your steps inside your PowerPoint. So when students click on next slide, your narrations come for this slide is running at the same time. You can also, of course, record a video on it. Include tables for clarity. That's something that I use a lot in PowerPoint. You can prepare a table and after just fill it during your presentation. So it will be easier to be well organized and you can add different tools around. Some negative points about PowerPoint interface. It's not an infinite space, so you will need to add slides. And sometimes I have to remember what I wrote on the previous slide because I don't have enough space on one slide. I don't want to make it too crowded. So I write it on one side, but for short problems is really great. You can't use Google Slides. You need to be on PowerPoint. I didn't find any nice add-on to draw in Google Slide. So like this one, you see maybe my laser or something like that, but I cannot draw on it at the same time. So I have my presentation, nice presentation. On PowerPoint, you can use the presentation mode and write on it. So it's very clean. You don't see the little slide on the side or the notes, speaker notes, nothing like that. And one thing that I like to use is I really like to have my cheating sheet on my second monitor, so the PowerPoint with the answers, so I can check that I have the right answer when I record my video at the same time. Or you can use the presentator mode with your notes on one monitor and you write on the presentation monitor when you have two different screens. Okay, so for PowerPoint, I will show you little demonstrations with the PowerPoint. Here we go. Okay, so first let's use, I'm lost, my presentation mode. Let's do this one. Oh, that's on my second screen. Let me check. Let me just 10 seconds. Up, slideshow. I need to change that. Let me leave. I'm in my presentation mode somewhere. I cannot switch, I think. Yes. Let me think. Okay, so I just need to switch my monitors. Here we go. So here I have my presentations, and you see on the back, you have this little icon there with pen, highlighter, laser pointer, eraser. So you can draw on your slide now. For example, I prepare this table and we will fill these tables one step at a time. So in this column, we will find twice x, that will be 2 times 2, that will be 4. And this one, we will find the minus 5y with the y equal 5, that is minus 25. And when we want the sum of both of them, 2x minus 5y, which just do the sum, that is minus 21. Second row, 2x is equal to 6, minus 5y minus 1 times minus 5, it's 5. It's 5, and 6 plus 5, it's 11. So it's really easy for the students to follow one step at a time, and my advice is to give them in advance the slide with the empty spot so they can fill it at the same time. So oops, and after that you can click on the next slide. I made it 2, so you have the first one and the second one. You can erase, you can change color if you want. So let's say the second line, I want to make it in blue. And you can highlight. You have the highlighter. You have it yellow, for example, you want to highlight the minus, and minus that give plus, or plus time minus that give us minus, if you want to insist on some important points in your presentation. When you are done, you can end show, and you can keep your annotations if you want, and you can save your slide with all the annotations or take screenshot, and after that share with your students. So that's for the PowerPoint. I hope it doesn't start at the beginning. So you all, just to end up on PowerPoint, you all have the PowerPoint. I don't see my, try to see why I see my, there. Okay, that's fine. I try not to see this. Should be a bug. That's okay. So we all have PowerPoint, and in Excel and in Word, that does work the exact same way. Now let's speak about Microsoft Whiteboard as its name. Explain it is more like a huge whiteboard to write on it. Okay, so the Microsoft Whiteboard interface, sorry, I just stop video and go back. I want to remove my taskbar on the right. So it's a huge whiteboard. It's infinite. You can scroll to the right, to the left. You can zoom in and out. The interface is a little bit different. You see the color there. You have a little bit more that you can save. So the blue, the one that I use the most, I save on the left. One highlighter, same thing, the ruler, the lasso, and you can also write on it something. That's great. So you can just make a nice title if you want. I did include the picture, and I drew on the picture there, as you can see. Oops. Okay. So the plus of the Microsoft Whiteboard interface. So this picture on the right is how it's saved. When you open your app, you will see all the little whiteboards. So the first thing that I would say is like one of the biggest challenge with Microsoft Whiteboard is your whiteboards are saved by date, and you cannot organize them by folder. So it's a little bit challenging when you begin to have a lot. One great thing with this tool is collaborative. So it's saved on your Microsoft account, Maricopa Microsoft account, and you can add collaborators to one Microsoft whiteboard. And you have infinite space, and I did use them a lot. You can add in the background some little dot if you want, or line to draw, to write, to be easier to draw. And you see for the circle, I do include a picture of a circle with a transparent background, and I draw on it. So it's make it nicer. Because it's saved on your Microsoft account, it's kind of an online app. It's on your computer, but it's always linked to your account. It's not available when you can't log in, like now. So for the demonstration of whiteboard, I did pick a video that I did a long time ago. So you see, I copy paste the picture on the background, and after that, I draw on it. And what I want to show you is about like there. I do use some line to organize my equations to not confuse too much. So you can draw lines before, or you can draw them at when you make it. But my advice there is to think about your organizations and how you will solve your problems before filling your whiteboards. And sometimes I ended up having like equation a little bit everywhere, but you need to keep like from left to right, from up to down, but something that makes sense for the students. Okay. So OneNote interface, the third software, that's the one that I use the most now, and maybe because what you see on the left is you can organize by folder. But otherwise, it's really like the Microsoft Whiteboard interface, except the fact that you can organize your folder, and you can click on this button, and your menu will be hidden. So you have more space. Same thing, you can copy paste some images, and you can draw on the right. You have the same tools, colors, lasso. You have some shapes, so that's great. There's some like shapes that are pre-recorded that you can Insert, you can transfer in math, and you have the ruler that I use all the time. I will show you in the demonstration of the OneNote. Okay, so one of the biggest plus in comparison with the Microsoft Whiteboards software app is your folders to organize your notes. You have infinite space around except above the title because there's a title. And when you are done, you can save as a PDF and share the PDF. That's a bit big file, but that's fine. So about the demonstrations for the OneNote, let me grab my, oops, it's so small now. Let me click there. Okay, so you see I did section lol and I create demonstrations. So there I write demonstration in it. I can close now my menu. So I have more space so that's what the students see. Okay, so let's say I want to solve a little problem in statics. I want to draw a beam. So I grab the ruler and I can tilt the ruler. I use my fingers to tilt the ruler and I can draw a beam. Can tilt if I want to make like vertical edges on the side. And this is my beam. So I use this ruler all the time. Very easy to use. You just click back on ruler and it disappears. I will add my support. So on the left is what we call a pin connections, and on the right it will just be a roller connection. So it just like supported with a normal force. And let's say we have a force that we know that is applied there, that is 150 pounds on this beam, and we have some dimensions. On the left is 1 feet, and on the right it will be 4 feet. Okay, and we have two forces on the left because it's a pin connection, and one force is on the right. Here we go. I will not go too much in details, but for just to show you what it's look like when I draw and make it at the same time. So we do the sum of the moment about the point A that is equal to 0 because we are in a statics problem, and what we have the 150 pound that tends to rotate in the negative directions. So we have the 150 times 1 feet in the negative directions, and we have the force, normal force NB at the point B, time the total distance, and this total distance is 1 plus 4, it's 5 feet. Time 5, it's equal to 0. We ended up to have NB equal 150 divided by 5, so we got NB equal 30 pounds. And we can highlight our answer. And that's it. If we want, we can highlight it with the highlighter too. And there's different size. That's a great size. If you want, you can change your color for the highlighter. I use highlighter or draw colors all the times. And after that, you can move right and save another problem. You can make it smaller to add more text on the bottom. You can make it bigger. You can zoom in, zoom out. Very easy to manage. About the math equations, I'll show you what it looks like. Let's say you write 1. I'll make it a little bit bigger. So 1 divided by x plus 5, it's equal to, I don't know, 2 times y. And you want to make it in math. I think you need to select it first with your lasso and click on math. And you will, yes, so you select your lasso and you will, oh, can I fix it? Click on the parts that need to be fixed. Can I fix it? It doesn't understand my x. I have some problems sometimes because I do my equations a little bit different. So let's see. I will try to redo my x, probably like this. It will work better. Let me select again my equations, and here we go. Now we have into math, and I have my equation in math, and I can make it bigger, smaller, can change that. Sometimes I find it a little bit hard to make it bigger, but you have your equation. Shape, you have some pre-recorded shapes, and some that are great is like the little X and Y axes if you want to use them. I personally draw them by hand. Yeah, I do my X, oops, I and Y. I'm used to do my X like this one, cursive X. Anyway, so a lot of great tools. I mean, there's not a lot of tools, but just what we need to solve a problem. So that's really my favorite one. And you can print in PDF after that for your student to share with your students. And you keep them, you will have all of them in your folder and you can go back on them anytime. Sorry for the little long demonstration on one. That's really my favorite one. I never used the class notebook, but you see you can share with students. I never use it, but it will be interesting to share, to see what it looks like. Okay, let's come back on the presentation. Here we go. We got a demonstration on OneNote. Now, how do you save, how do you record your problem that you solve? There's different software. I will not be too long on that because it's not, it's important, but it's not the main topic. Snagit is the one that I use the most because there's no time limit. And one thing that I really enjoy is like there's no time to process the video. So you record video and you click done and your video is on your computer. And after that, you can download it on YouTube. That takes a little bit time, but not so much. But you can't include your camera, at least with the version that I have, that I did pay for. But it's really great tools for the fact that there is no time limit and there's no time processing time. Screencast-O-Matic, free for when you want to record less than 15 minutes. After that, you have to pay. I don't remember how much exactly. You can include your video, so you have the choice to select the screen, the webcam, or both of them together. But there's a little bit long processing time. It's not so bad, but if you want to record like 4 videos in a row, you need to wait between each video. Another software to record is OBS. That's the software that use the gamers online. So if you want to get some help, you need to go to see them. But it's free, and you can have your camera. You can have many things inside your screen that you record, like scene that you record. Like for example, you can have you with the green background, and behind you, you will have your whiteboard that you write on it. So it's very cool. It's a little bit more complicated than Snagit. You need to practice a little bit. And you can record, save your setup. Like say you record always this software and this one and this one. You can save them and use them all the time. That's the interface on the right. You can use a meeting and record your meeting, and you can save that in your WebEx and Google Meet. The only thing that I find it like it's like you lost a little bit space because you have your videos or camera or chat or depending on the way it's made, and it's not. I don't feel it's as good quality as a software like Snagit, for example. And one thing, I just make sure nobody is joining your meeting when you use meeting space that is common to people, or put a message before you begin to record. It's happened to me to come in a meeting. Oh, that's just an example of this one, and you will have the link just to show that, just to illustrate the next slide, where you need to think a little bit on your organization of your video and your whiteboard and your steps to solve your problems before you begin. To use all the space, like a rectangular space, not like a very tiny, thin rectangle. You try to use all the space on your screen and divide in different parts if needed. Try to keep the same size because when you zoom in and zoom out, sometimes you begins to change the size font. So just an example of a video that I think was nice. I use the space as much as I can. And you see this title there, like distributed load of usual shapes. It was writing with a font tool inside the Microsoft Whiteboard. Oops, you will go see them if you want. Recommendations, general recommendations. So think about your organizations before you begin to record your video. Put your steps and answer on another monitor or notebook. So I always have my cheating sheets, especially when it's very long problems to solve with a lot of sign and mistake can be made. I prefer to have my steps so I can check my intermediate steps and answers, because it's always sad when you record a 20-minute video and you made a mistake at the end, or you just see the mistake at the end. You can pause your video if needed, like for example in Snagit or any other video. There's a pause button. Use it. You have a kids coming in your room, pause your video. don't let them screw your video. And if you don't pause and you have kids coming, that's completely fine. It's happened to me. Remove any app and pop-up. So like, for example, you record your video and you have a pop-up coming with the students asking you questions from a chat feature. You need to remove that after that. You cannot publish it because there is a name of a student. So my advice is like, make sure that you close all your app or slide them on the other monitor so your pop-up will go on the other monitor. When you record your video, think long-term. Make the video as neutral as possible. So don't say, hey, this semester class, or this time, or good morning, some specific informations, because otherwise for next semester, students will really feel like, oh my God, this video was not made for us. It's like, it doesn't mean that you don't have to do a specific video every week for your students, but maybe not the one where you solve problems if you want to reuse them. And remove copyright content to create your own content if you want to make them public. And last slide for the conclusions. Your whiteboard, your virtual whiteboard is exactly like your whiteboard in your classroom. Use the space, make drawings, use colors, everything that you like. It's not limited to equations. I share a lot of equations and everything, but you can make diagrams, drawings, mind maps. I use mind maps a lot with my students, and I encourage them to use whiteboards. They can just take notes, and also for collaborative works is awesome. I recommend to students, if they want to take notes and or do their assignments too, at the beginning of the semester, I always make them demonstrations, and some of them use them. And that's it for this video. Thank you for sticking with me. That's as long as 27 minutes. And let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.